It's a great time to be a gamer, but these titles made us want to burn our consoles in protest. Welcome to WatchMojo, and today we'll be counting down our picks for the top 10 worst video games of 2018.
You made it through the gates of hell. You're now standing in D-Day, the world beyond the wormholes.
For this list, we're looking at the worst of the worst, titles that left us scratching our heads in confusion, foaming at the mouth in anger, and laughing maniacally out of desperation.
2018 has been an absolute roller coaster of a year. Click the link below to find our best and worst of 2018 videos for a look back at all the awesome and crazy things that happened.
Number 10, Fear Effect Sedna.
We'll stay in contact and join when we're sure where the statuette is. I'll bring your weapons.
We have a lot of fond memories of the original Fear Effect games on the PS1, what with their cool cel-shaded graphics, cutting-edge 3D environments, and creepy premise. So we weren't too happy when the latest title came along and totally harshed our nostalgia buzz. Some incredibly awkward level design, top-down view, clunky mechanics, lackluster controls, and subpar story. Perhaps we're victims of our own expectations on this one, but we felt like the game did just enough to be playable and absolutely no more, thus leaving us cold towards this once beloved franchise. Oh well.
How hard I tried to haunt you. I couldn't find the right answer.
Haunt.
Number 9, Extinction. The game's concept sounds cool, a dying breed of soldier out to face gruesome monsters, until we realise that A, this game is literally Attack on Titan with a fantasy theme, and B, there's just not enough content here to justify its $60 asking price, let alone any amount of prolonged play. Gameplay is incredibly repetitive, different modes barely change how the game plays, there's not much by way of content, and yet Modus Games is releasing DLC for it, and finally, it looks like a last-gen game. The world in Extinction may be grand, but the game is anything but.
This Reveni is no match for my blade.
Number 8, Earthfall.
There's a sapper!
The fact that Gearbox published this game had our hopes riding high, but a few hours into this co-op shooter had left them all but dashed. It feels old-fashioned compared to other co-op shooters of today, and it doesn't bring anything new to the table either, so we struggled to recommend taking time away from other co-op games to play this one. Sure, if you have a good group of friends gathered around, then Earthfall is a serviceable multiplayer game for a few hours. But beyond that, there's really no reason to return to it or keep playing. We'd prefer to return to Left 4 Dead 2 instead. Number 7, Metal Gear Survive. It's bad enough that we're never getting another Hideo Kojima Metal Gear title, so releasing this shell of a game with the Metal Gear name attached to it was just a kick in the nuts for MGS fans this year. It looks great and runs on the incredible Fox engine, but it's also a rather lame attempt to cash in on popular zombie and survival games. Konami could have done itself a ton of favors and just released it under a different name. But alas, here we are, a run-of-the-mill survival game that only evokes painful memories of an unfinished Metal Gear Solid 5, and reminds us why people are so mad at Konami. Bloody hell. Hey guys, Ashley here, and you know what? I absolutely loved Metal Gear Solid 5, and that's why Survive felt like a punch in the bloody gut. So, don't take my word for it, but we did do a Mojo Plays review where we tore its arse asunder. Check it out here. Number 6, The Quiet Man. On paper, the premise sounds interesting. You play as a deaf protagonist trying to save a pianist. or portrayed in a combination of live-action film sequences where you can't hear the dialogue and hand-to-hand combat scenarios. Unfortunately, everything fails in execution. Despite the impressive TV show quality production values, the actual game is a clunky, broken mess thanks to its mundane combat system, terrible camera, and collision detection issues. Not only that, but without an alternate method to convey scenes without dialogue, the story ends up being incomprehensible. There's better ways to represent disability in video games, this is a clear example of how not to do it. Number 5, Agony.
She will change you.
Another game with a neat concept that just couldn't stick the landing. Agony drops us into hell, and we're basically forced to stealth, survive, and outsmart monsters and demons. The problem is, it just doesn't work that well, as the stealth gameplay is the only thing that feels hellish about this game. After some early scares and excitement, we felt bored and frustrated, and also thought the game could have benefited from a few more months in development. That's not to mention the bad voice acting and lack of story. There are much better survival games in 2018 to spend your money on.
I must admit you can ruin the atmosphere.
Number 4, Shaq Fu, a legend reborn.
Who the hell are you guys?
Back up, White Rice! We're here for the old man!
Trying to cash in on the nostalgia wave is a tricky thing to do, but it's even harder when the original thing you're trying to cash in on wasn't that good in the first place. The original Shaq Fu game was so bad it's unplayable, so why Shaquille O'Neal thought the world needed a new Shaq Fu game in 2018 is a wonder to anyone. The hitboxes are broken, the fights get repetitive very quickly, and the game is filled with dull, outdated, and sometimes offensive pop culture jokes. It feels like this is a game that was made for Shaq, and well, that's about it.
If I wanted money, I would have become a basketball player, demon.
Number 3, Wild West Online. Red Dead Redemption, this game is not. In fact, it's debatable whether this is a game at all, or just a way to get gamers to give away their money via microtransactions. That is, if you can get far enough through this buggy mess to even encounter microtransactions. It's clearly an attempt to cash in on Red Dead Redemption 2 and release an online Western MMO before Rockstar could, but we doubt many people fell for the ruse. Also, with Red Dead Online, this game is already obsolete. Wild West Online is akin to quick drawing on an enemy and shooting yourself in the foot, repeatedly. Number 2, The Culling 2. Yes, the Battle Royale genre is popular in video games these days, but the manner in which The Culling 2 tried to introduce itself into the conversation was so bad, so broken, and so flawed that the developer Xaviant removed the game from sale and reimbursed anyone who purchased it. In an online apology video, Director of Operations John Van Velde admitted that The Culling 2 was not the game fans asked for, and vowed to return to supporting the first Culling game. Oh yeah, and the team also called us out for not awarding them number 1 on another worst list. We did consider it this time, but trust us, Xaviant, when you see who number 1 is, you'll be glad you're not worse than him. Before we unveil our worst game of the year, here are a few dishonourable mentions.
Sorry, I'll be right back.
Troops under attack by 15 Need support!
Lots of water out there.
Number 1, Super Seducer, How to Talk to Girls.
That sounds fun actually, I never thought of that. But buy some almonds, go feed the squirrels.
You should try it sometime.
Okay.
Self-proclaimed dating expert Richard LaRuina fronts this live-action visual novel all about, you guessed it, how to pick up girls. After playing this game, however, it should have been titled How to Talk to Girls If You Never Want to Talk to Girls Again, because this quote-unquote learning tool is light on the learning and heavy on the tool. The ladies won't fall for these cheesy lines, so neither should men, hoping this game will improve their dating lives. But luckily, it's a one-off, and we won't have to relive this nightmare again, right? Nope, because somehow we also got Super Seducer 2 this year, and it's even more cringe-inducing than the first game. Lovely.
My name is Amber.
Nice to meet you, Amber.
Nice to meet you too.
Do you agree with our picks? Check out these other great clips from WatchMojo, and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.